飞，真的照飞。现在极端起范儿了，兄弟。
Some emotion in those words, man. Q9 is ready to rock and roll, and they are ready to flip this leaderboard on its head. Q9, a dominant force in group stages, but at the bottom of the leaderboard going into the Space City rounds. There's no more holding back. There is no more slow play needed. You've got to get aggressive. We've been calling for it, and now's the time to prove that you're the best team here. Top 2 go straight to finals. Top 2 from this competition right now in upper bracket, auto are top 6 in the competition and are auto playing on stage in a sold-out stadium to the folks here in China. We are so excited about the finals day, but a lot more to work for right now and all day tomorrow, but not for the top 2 teams.
All right, so Mandelbrick Attic will be in the north, okay? They'll be in the north. They got a little bit of room to travel down. ESG, though, is going to have priority. They're going to be able to get over towards that Mandelbrick very quickly. Now, the question is, already a down, mind you. That's going to be Fallen taking down Crazy Dog.
Yeah, this is why you need smokes. They smoke the bridge to swing over across the pipes down towards the Mandelbrick, but Fallen knows exactly what they can read and how fast they can get there. Use Bishka picking up 1. Gold, silver, second place team. You got to remember that. And now have a player on yellow timer. They are in a blender, and Mandelbrick Addiction is sprinting towards the middle of the map. And ESG got T1 spawn, like you mentioned. They're moving forward, and you were right. Mandelbrick Addiction, they've got the AWM, they've got the ammo exchanging hands, and they are ready to rock and roll with it.
Yes, they are, but they're going to have a little bit more competition than they probably are used to when it comes to initially grabbing the Mandelbrick. They're going to have GS just off to their right, and of course ESG just down to the left. And for Bulldog, already looking to get into an engagement himself. Shots are going to be fired at this point in time, just warning shots, but a good nade could be placed, and Bobo might be dropped.
Gold Silver lost a player earlier and have completely abandoned the idea of going back for that revive. The player dies in a wide open position and they've got to leave him. Gold Silver having to play as a duo. Here's a quick look at our operators of choice. No Tempest this time around for anyone, but as mentioned, every single team running Luna aside from Ink. Ink has gone Stinger, Shepherd, and Toxic for this one. See if it works well for them. Mandelbrick Addiction playing around, of course, the Mandelbrick. 2 members of Gold Silver still alive playing around the Mandelbrick, and ESG playing around the Mandelbrick. Everybody lying in wait until this thing pops, as ESG does find a nice dish for 471k. Across the board, though, nice loot value across the board for the kits that everybody's bringing in. Mandelbrick Addiction bringing in all golds, a huge boon for them. Fallen not too far behind. HR the only one in purples. That squad, nice high value kits for the most part. You go down here, you are risking a lot, especially if you're a team without a Mandelbrick.
Speaking of a team without one, it's going to be ESG. Very close, but GS also in the vicinity. I think GS is in the worst spot. They're caught between a rock and a hard place, that being NBA, ESG on the opposite end. For GS, already a player down 2. This could very well be kind of the final straw, right, at this point. And, well, here it is. Mandelbrick is going to be picked up. It is ESG, just as I thought it was going to be. Of course, Fu Zhang, the guy that's typically making plays, he's going to be pushing out, trying to push up.
Q9's in the vicinity, though. They are swinging on the backside of ESG. ESG grabbed the brick on spawn. It procs, they immediately grab it, and they sprint as fast as humanly possible to the tried and true, baby. The wide open alleyway, a fun decoding station to guard. Everybody's used to it. Everybody knows it. It's the one that most people put the Mandelbrick in. It's the quickest that you can drop the Mandelbrick. And all of a sudden, ESG says, we're doing the thing Taylor's been saying that we need to do. We got to get aggressive.
Got to get aggressive.
Grab the brick, put it in. Mandelbrick Addiction, lose 1 to HR. A nice boon for Fallen to take a little bit of an early advantage over their fellow EU comrades.
I think it's going to go back and forth. I really do. Whether it's going to be Ink or whether it's going to be GS, I think some spots are going to be taken. Yeah, Flarich is going to be dropped. Skydie getting active once again, as he typically does. So GS has lost a player. FN has a downed player. This might be very bad for them. I like NBA's positioning because they're going to be behind all of this.
Oh my gosh, Bulldog down below wins his one. Use Bishka's down. Clarence is down. Fallen had the advantage, but Skitey plays spoiler, and we're just winning our ones. We lose one. HR will not fall like his compatriots. It's going to be Boldo versus HR in a 1v1, and HR has the high ground. Can the young gun win the 1v1, or is he just going to stick to res? Boldo makes the move. He does it! A grenade spawn, but he doesn't connect. Oh, he thought HR wouldn't reach out there. Mandel Brick Addiction is out of this lobby. We are going to at least game 5, baby.
If Boldo doesn't have the nade in hand, he wins that fight. Absolutely wins that fight. That is so tough, but like you said, he wasn't expecting him to be right there. In the meantime, right, you had the player going for the res. That was a free elimination, but just a misread of the situation. NBA gone, like you said, we are guaranteed a game 5.
Brother, HR with the reach out there was wild. Was sticking the res. Player comes up, spooks him. As he goes running, our Mana Brick Addiction player thought he could throw a nade to follow him. HR spins off reach outs and cuts him down before he can even pull his gun out. And all of a sudden, Fallen is entirely back on their feet. All 3 players of Fallen are alive. 2 of those players already been down to yellow. This is utter chaos right now.
Chaos indeed for ESG. Potentially a big moment. They were the ones that started decoding the Mandel Brick. They are the ones still in control of it currently, but it does get touched by no other than Q9, who's at the bottom. Like we talked about it, there's so many ways to win. There's so many ways to progress through the stages. And for Q9, despite them being at the lowest when it comes to total assets, getting this Mandel Brick could very well put them back up and running.
Anybody's ball game. If you get a Mana Brick here, you're not assuredly making finals, but you absolutely have a really good stab at it. Q9 have fully laid a trap inside of this alleyway, and frankly, a little bit uncharacteristic. They're playing out in the open. They're not playing for these buildings. They're playing around the boxes in the middle and setting up a trap in the middle of the map. We do have one player of Q9 playing the backside flank, which would potentially pick up Ink if they decide to come up this ramp. And then ESG will have to come out of the building to make a play for the decoding station here shortly as well. Right over the top of K1D on your screen right now. A look at the map shows that 2 members of GS are still in the area. I mean, everybody's in the area, obviously. Where else would you be right now? As right now, 4 players are dead and 3 of them are Mandel Brick Addiction.
Fallen's about to make a good attempt. 3 players move up.
Yeah, spotted.
Got Ink to the left.
AWM.
Too. Yeah, AWM. Q9 to the left. Up close though. That could be unfortunate demise of HR, who's been going through the blender. This man has been getting down time and time and time again. And well, in this case, it could very well happen. However, if it doesn't, he can hit some great shots, just barely missing the first.
Picked up this AWM from the dead Mana Brick Addiction. Got his teammates back, won the engagement, ice in the veins, and gets paid for it. Not only in loot, but in one of the strongest weapons in the game. Fallen making a move, they're pushing up. They know they don't have sights on them. Q9 was backed up because of the sniper shot, so HR pushes up and is now playing the peak. Where's everybody else? Nobody else is wanting to third party this. This is truly a 3v3 on the point with everybody else just kind of watching and waiting.
Yeah, I think they definitely have the right, though, to wait. Still a minute left. You have to assume, at least in their minds, that Fallen will get a touch. But Guar keeping them at bay just by literally staying prone behind this box. They're giving them way too much respect. They really are. K1DE,
here we go. This is the signal,
and this is the signal. Ink is going to be moving in. ESG as well. 52 seconds. Q9 still decoding.
Yeah, Fallen was going to make a move there, I think, once they heard shots on the other side, but unfortunately, Ink decides to go up from the other side of Fallen. So now Ink, who was going to play spoiler to Q9 from the ramp, says, we can't really make this play up the ramp. We're going to lose this fight. Let's come along the eastern side. And here we go.
It's Guar to watch out for. He's going to have the off angle. K1DE is going to start pushing up. He's getting aggressive, and he actually hops right up to it. He's going to take down HR. Q9 is still going to be decoding, and in the meantime, Guar still has not moved. Actually, he's going to be fully down. K1DE needs to stop him. Just mere seconds remaining. Killzone's also going to fall. Claridge is going to be knocked down. Just 8 seconds away. Q9 with the code from the bottom potentially to the top with the Mandel Brick. Do they get it? HR has no choice but to look on as the Mandel Brick is extracted and Q9 are successful.
Q9 in last place. I said it right before we started. All I gotta do is get a Mandel Brick, and all of a sudden, Q9's gonna be joining the race of the top 2 as of current. We're definitely playing another map, and we might play 2 more, but Q9, they've lost 1 player, but K1DE, my hero thus far, stays on top, and now Mo is wiping one part of Ink. Ink down to a single player, and he's just on the other side of this door from K1DE. What is played to see the smoke, push the point, and not let anyone get the better of their opponents. Ink fully wiped now with the help of ESG. It was the 2 China teams falling earlier in the upper bracket, and now it's 2 China teams standing tall right now. Q9 getting the Mandel Brick, and ESG the only team with all 3 alive, and a nice knock and a nice trade. But unfortunately, ESG is here to play trash compactor. We're here to take out the trash and send them packing. But the good news for for Q9,
yeah.
So used to Mandel Brick addiction, getting the Mandel Brick. Q9 get the brick. They die for it, but they get the brick. ESG just cleans everybody else up.
Everybody up. ESG gets a bit of a win. Obviously, Q9 gets the biggest win, getting the Mandel Brick. Things going to start looking scary going into Game 5. The extraction is in. Who gets sent out? Well, it's going to be 1 player from GS. What a turn of events for Q9 on the precipice of potentially going to the elimination stages. Now it's potentially going directly into the finals.
Such a smart play from K1DE. We'll talk a little bit more about this later. There's still 9 minutes left on this map, by the way. We'll talk more about it later, but pushing up through the smoke, just to barrel stuff anybody that was playing for the decode. The timer was so low. His only job was just to protect that decoding station. He didn't even care if he died, but he's able to protect it and stay alive. Huge win there from Q9. Loot value is going to be extremely low, but it doesn't matter. They got the brick. They're going to be near the top of the leaderboard. Going to be in number 2.
ESG, this is such a big opportunity for them to just gather as many assets as possible. But now, obviously, what matters is the Mandel Brick. You have to get one. If you want to surpass both NBA and Q9, there's no other choice. The Mandel Brick is the only option, the only way. Makes things spicier than we have seen even in the group stages a little bit earlier, match A and match B. This is going to be for the first time like a Mandel Brick is truly going to be the win condition.
Yeah, if you want to make finals, you got to get a Mandel Brick, but you also got to get a Mandel Brick with decent loot value.
Yep.
Q9 is not out of the woods yet. They are not necessarily making finals yet. Q9 will be the lowest loot value overall with them getting wiped. They'll be in second, but if another team gets a Mandel Brick in round 5, and we've got 3 teams with a brick going into the final round of the day, they will be in trouble.
Yep.
But a great map regardless. ESG, by the way, has a stupid amount of loot from this one.
That's right.
They are leapfrogging this leaderboard if they're all able to get out. And right now, I can only imagine that they do. GS has a solo. Fallen has a solo.
They're
And right now,
though.
yeah, they're just trying to. I mean, they're just trying to get as much loot into their safe box as possible. Plenty of time to actually extract, but I don't know how you're going to extract in the face of ESG.
I don't think it's going to be possible, but plain spoiler here could be massive. But again, the only thing that matters is the Mandel Brick now. Q9 and NBA are well on their way to the finals potentially. I think NBA more so with their asset count. But now the door's open for quite literally anybody out there. And things just became pretty fun. Already have been, but now things are going to be spicy in map 5.
Yeah, that's right. Anybody's game and technicality. And Brick Addiction obviously still in a really good position. By the way, that is the first map at Mandel Brick Addiction has truly lost.
Yes, actually, yes.
First team out. Weren't able to get anything going. Brutal way to go out, but they couldn't be perfect. Not in the stage of this caliber, man.
Well, yeah, as far as I'm concerned goes, they kind of have been. They kind of have been perfect. Albeit, though, does taking that L kind of take some of the wind out of their sails? I don't think so. But just something to kind of say. We do have ESG starting to move up. Again, you have the solos from GS. as well as Fallen, just up ahead. And Oxygen has been known to make a play or two.
A play for the loot. You gotta remember, Oxygen didn't have a single kill in group stage.
But now it's time to pick up 3.
Hey, you never know, man.
They're getting close.
It's hard to smoke out the rats sometimes. Look at the Bishka. Look at the spot that he's on. ESG knows there's someone around here somewhere. We're looking for loot first.
I'm going to be completely real. I don't think it's even necessary to really continue to go for more. I think they're pretty loaded as it is. I think play this essentially as safe as you can. Granted, I mean, you got the man advantage. I mean, you're not going to waste this from a competitive standpoint.
Yeah, look at total assets, though, on the left-hand side.
I know.
Look how much they're jumping.
I know.
Pushing up over 20 mil. This is what made ESG such a formidable foe in their qualification series. They just had crazy loot. Looks like spotted. Fishka knows that team's below. They know he's here. Ooh, he's going to go to close the door, and he almost loses his life for it. Now in deep trouble. They're just going to trade this out.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, isn't it? By the way, the solo from GS manages to extract.
Well, no, the solo from GS just died. The other player from GS did get out earlier.
My apologies.
Yeah, no, you're good. It was actually 2 fights happening at the same time with the same team. ESG cleans house. Uzbishka down. The last remaining player from GS down. And now ESG gets the pick of the litter. They get to loot the rest of the map. They've already killed everybody else. This is the ESG we've been waiting for.
Yes.
But again, Q9 was the one that got the brick. So
right.
ESG will leapfrog all the way up to 3rd place, being the team that has absolutely the most loot value on this map. And in the total match that we've played thus far, the teams at the top are the teams that got the Mandel brick. And you can pay attention to our extraction timers as well. Should be able to get out the extraction that is just on the outside of the bridge, outside of horizontal test workshop. The one that we always fight over. This time is free and clear. Let's stack our bags with everything that we can. And this is a gigantic map for him, Taylor.
Huge.
It's going to be pushing 14 mil in total just from this map alone, which is humongous for them, especially if they can get a brick in the next round. They could potentially still play for first place.
Oh, definitely, especially if they get a Mandel brick. That's what this is all about. If they can get a Mandel brick, they're head and shoulders above everybody. I think the narrative then will shift from map 6, that they're playing, simply for everybody else is playing for 2nd place, right, rather than 1st, with the way ESG is currently at. But that's all dependent if ESG manages to get a Mandel brick, which is a lot easier said than done, for sure. But definitely the best game from ESG we have seen so far. Like you said, coming into true form, this is something we've been waiting on. ESG was much hyped up, the number 1 seed coming out from China. Expected them to have a bigger impact in their respective match. But that's okay, because now is the time where they start to step it up.
And this feels like the National Geographic side of operations sometimes. Got to hold on and just loot up. Hey, we take those. Golly.
Could they hit? I mean, very well.
They're pushing 15 mil, man.
I know.
This is the nature of the game. Here's a quick look at some of the replays here. And this was such a fun encounter. Q9 couldn't quite land that nade, but does trade 1 out of ESG. ESG had the momentum, and they just come sweeping through like a tidal wave, wiping all of Q9 with ease. They end up then cleaning the solo from GS and cleaning the solo from Fallen. They clean house, they clean up all the scraps, and they clean up all the loot. See the player on our screen with almost 4.6 mil as an individual. Absolute gigantic loot game. And they should be able to get out with everything that they want. They're going to get some AWM ammo as well. They're going to have an AWM to play with as well because of the dead bodies on screen.
Yep.
Huge boon for them, and they're going to get out. Great map. Almost 15 mil in total, pushing them over 26 mil on the overall leaderboard. But a really fun map. Our first Space City map was a banger.
Yeah.
We got 2 more.
Well, potentially 2 more. And it was a bloodbath for the Mandelbrick extraction. A lot more so than I was expecting, truthfully. But very well done. As soon as NBA fell, I mean, everybody, they smelled blood in the water, bro. They were sharks. They were ready to feast. They went full speed ahead. ESG was obviously that roster that wanted it originally, but it was Q9 who stole it for themselves. And once they stole it, they refused to relinquish it. Well done. There it is for Q9. Second Mandelbrick of the day, or at least for the upper bracket, has been earned. They will match that of NBA, and both of them will be in first and second place respectively. But with two more potential space cities, it's still wide open for anyone to take the two coveted spots for the finals.
And I gotta say, when we tuned into some of the comms, we were showing the player pictures, we had the camera on Q9 right before that game, they looked bad. They were ready to strike, and they were able to do it perfectly. There's so much we can break down about that last map, and we'll see it in the highlights. But again, I've got to shout out this Q9 roster against adversity. I mean, they dominated group stages. Let me be very clear. Yes, Fallen was the leader in their groups, but they were the strongest team in terms of slaying power, loot value, and everything in between. Q9, this in the upper bracket, has struggled, but in that map, almost.
Of course, they will get the 3 eliminations. That's going to be 1.2 million. But the big thing is they get the Mandelbrick decoded, which is going to put them at the same pace of NBA at the top. But for ESG, 14.84 million, 6-round eliminations. What a massive game for them. So they'll put on, of course, on that 14.84, they'll put on an additional, 2.4 million. Just brilliantly done. If they get a Mandelbrick, there is nothing stopping them from going into finals.
We've been talking a lot about those two China teams for good reason. Massive moments in this last round, but look at their damage charts, man. Fallen was scrappy. They picked up a lot of kills as well. I believe they picked up 6 as well. That's a nice boon to their tally. They were frying, and they were constantly fighting. They were in a blender pretty much the entire time. But the best team, well, we got to give it to our team that was able to grab the Mandelbrick. They pick up 3 kills, and they get the Mandelbrick, so they're the best team in that last match as they jump up into second place, going to be right behind, likely behind, that team of Mandelbrick Addiction. We got 2 teams on match point going into map 5, but the hero was your GOAT, my guy. The young gun HR is coming online, able to pick up 3 kills, 719 damage by himself, an assist, and of course a 3-0 KD. So a great map from HR, 19 years old, showing what he's got on main stage in the upper bracket, but Fallen's got to keep stepping up. They've been this close over and over again. They won their group stages, but right now, they're not going to finals if they don't get a brick in this next round.
That's it. They need the brick. That's going to be absolutely essential. Now,